Thought replacement. So we've all had situations where we have kind of a go-to mental thought. Psychologists call it an automatic thought. That is what psychologists call maladaptive, meaning it's not true or it's not productive, right? So suppose that whenever you make a mistake, your thought is, I'm so stupid, or that was so foolish, right? The only good thing about negative maladaptive thoughts is that they do tend to be predictable. So forewarned is forearmed. There are certain kind of ingrained responses. Now, to be fair, I actually think some of us might have, or some of our campers or counselors might have, automatic thoughts that might have even actually been appropriate at one time, especially those of us who are over the age of 25. This is because the prefrontal cortex doesn't finish developing until age 25. That's the part of your brain that is able to kind of strategize about future, think about future consequences, exercise self-discipline, all those types of things. So in other words, when somebody's 17 and in college or a senior in high school, they may have to kind of mentally strong-arm themselves. Like they might need to wake up and say, if I don't get up and get out of bed, I'm going to fail that whole class, and I just better do it, or else I'm going to fail the class, and then I'll fail college, and then my life will go nowhere, right? And they almost sometimes, I think, need a little bit of an iron fist to kick themselves into gear. And then once we reach a certain age, and we develop a certain level of self-discipline and natural ability to think about the future, then we might realize some of those iron-fisted ways that we're using on ourselves are actually no longer productive. And we might even have campers or counselors that even though they are young, they've still gone overboard, and their automatic thoughts are still a little overboard. So what we do then, again, the beauty of them is that forewarned is forearmed. We can think about what exactly are our negative automatic thoughts, and how can we overwrite them with new ones? So for example, if when you make a mistake, your first thought tends to be, I'm so stupid, you would overwrite that with something like, if I didn't have learning experiences, I wouldn't be growing, right? And then you would memorize that. You have to memorize it so that when you're in that moment of what we call hot emotional cognition, you won't be able to think of your new thought, if I didn't have learning experiences, I wouldn't be growing, unless you've spent some time memorizing it and maybe even writing it down. Now, some people say, you know, Dr. Chloe, I tried the thought replacements, but they didn't feel natural. And I want you to know that's totally okay. It just means that you definitely need to be using it, and you should be practicing more. Because if you think about it, a person who slouches for 20 years, the first time that they put their shoulders back and stand up straight, that doesn't feel natural to them at all. But it is the way that they should be standing. It's the healthy way for them to be standing, and they just simply need to keep practicing it until it does become their new habit. The thing about thought replacements, though, that you should know, because some people have asked me, well, are those like affirmations, you know, where you might have a poor person who thinks, I'm wealthy beyond belief, right? No, they're different, because affirmations are often aspirational, which is okay. There's actually some mixed research on whether affirmations actually help people, or if they're too aspirational, they actually make people feel worse because they highlight your actual awareness of where you are, but each person might be different on whether or not affirmations work for them. But thought replacements, there's a big difference, because thought replacements have to be 100% true in the here and now. So that's why the one I offered you about if I didn't make mistakes, I wouldn't be growing is a good thought replacement, because it's true right here, right now. So again, when you notice yourself even kind of backsliding into your old thoughts, if you have some kind of unproductive thought replacements or any of the habits that you have that you're trying to change, and you have an awareness in the moment of saying, oh, wow, I'm really doing it again. I've been beating myself up with those negative thoughts all day, or I've been ruminating on such and such, or whatever it is, I want you to, and this may surprise you, I want you to congratulate yourself. And the reason why you congratulate yourself is because if you think about it, awareness of the mistake is so much better than non-awareness of the mistake, right? Because a lot of people are almost sleepwalking, or they're going through without that metacognition. They're just doing the old habits without even realizing it. And if you get in the habit of first congratulating yourself and then asking yourself, what technique could I use to support myself better, you'll make more progress and you'll stay more motivated. It's a scientific fact. If you make it too hard, just like if you yell at employees for every little mistake, they start hiding things from you. You'll start doing the same thing to yourself. You'll start being less willing to notice and admit and acknowledge areas where you want to grow and change if you make it too hard on yourself. So first, congratulate yourself, and then ask yourself, what can I do to support myself better?